Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. And today, we're going to talk about Top Rank may be for sale, and we'll tell you who's interested, and you may be surprised. Adrian Broner gets taken away in handcuffs again, Beeb. I, for one, am shocked. But first, we get started with ESPN PBC pay-per-view. Listen, I know there was other fights the weekend. Listen, bottom line is this is the only fight that matters. Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, a rematch for Wilder's WBC title and Fury's Lineal heavyweight title. Listen, say what you want. Tyson Fury's a Lineal champ now. No more, there was a lot of talk that he wasn't the Lineal because he retired, and I kind of agree with that, but hey, listen, man, you can't, he's Lineal now. No question about that. Tyson Fury stops Deontay Wilder in the 7th round to become the new WBC Lineal and Lineal heavyweight champion. The fight was all Fury from start to finish. And I tell you, you got the sense early on that it just wasn't Wilder's night. I saw in the first 2 rounds, Wilder caught Fury with 2 hard right hands. I mean, flush right hands. That one in the first round maybe he didn't catch him flush. That second round, he caught him flush, I thought. Fury completely walked right through it, and you knew it was going to be uphill for him at that point. Fury crowded Wilder. He never took a backward step through the fight, man. He took the fight to Wilder. He looked like, he bullied the bully in this fight. Beeb, what this fight reminded me a lot of was the Evander Holyfield-Mike Tyson first fight, where Holyfield crowded him, Holyfield bullied him, Holyfield, just kind of manhandled him in there, ended up knocking him down. I mean, it was just, it reminded me, when I watched that fight, it reminded me a lot of this fight.
Did it remind you of the breakdown I gave you too last week?
Absolutely did. Absolutely. You were spot on with that breakdown, man. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's what, and you were the guy who said Tyson Fury is going to put on the weight to do this. He said, with the extra weight, this is what he's going to do, and this is his game plan.
I've seen him do it before against Chisora.
Now, Brian Kenny, of course, didn't agree with it. He says, no, why would he want to get in close to Wilder? Bottom line is he smothered his power, laid on him, and just made him carry both weights.
Yeah.
And since Wilder, and we talked about this, and Beeb, I tell you what, we talked about this at the weigh-in. I said that I didn't like the weight that either one of them came in at.
You did.
I said I didn't like the Fury. I definitely didn't like the Fury weight of 273, and I sure didn't like the Wilder weight of 231. I thought that was way too heavy for Wilder. And, not that Wilder is fat. I mean, he was shredded at that weigh-in. I mean, there's not an ounce of fat on that guy.
No.
But when you're, listen, man, anytime he weighed, what did we say, about 19 pounds difference from their first fight.
Yeah.
When you put on that kind of weight, that's going to affect you. And now, so it's not, you got to carry that weight. Your muscles need oxygen, man. It's one of those things, man. It's not good. It's not good for your, it's not good. Well, if he wanted to fight at that weight, he should have fought a couple of times at that weight.
Well, here's the thing. His last 2 previous highs was 229. And that was a while back. But when he did fight at that weight, it was against lower level opposition, and the fights did not last. The fights did not last long.
Right.
And the guys weren't obviously as big as Fury, so you never got a chance to see how well he could carry that weight throughout the course of a 12-round fight.
Right. That's it. And that's it, and again, man, you have to, it takes time to establish that weight. If you're going to move up in a weight division, it takes time. It takes time to establish that weight, and get comfortable at that weight. So, cardio-wise. And he didn't look comfortable last night. Now, a lot of that had to do with, a big 6'9" giant, smashing hands into your face. But be that as it may, I mean, Wilder really, he had no answers for this. I was surprised. There was no adjustments made. He had zero answer for any of this.
Were you really surprised that no adjustments were made, though? Like, when no disrespect, and I'm not trying to be a jerk.
No.
But
I said it. I said it going in. I said, and I told my dad, I said, he's got one way to win. And I said it before the fight. He's got one way to win. And there is no plan B. There is no plan B. Either he knocks you out or you're going to win a decision. And he says it himself. I only need to be perfect for 1 second. You got to be perfect for all 12 rounds. Those are his words, not mine, But no, was I surprised adjustments weren't made? Nah, not even a little bit. Because what adjustments, think about it. What adjustments can he make? Can't make them. What's he going to do? Start boxing?
Never done it.
And then he's going to outbox Tyson Fury?
And if I hear Teddy Atlas tell me a fighter is exposed, I get how is he exposed if you already knew what he was? The guy goes from being the most dangerous guy on the planet, the hardest hitting heavyweight of all time, to all of a sudden, now he's a nobody. Now he's trash. And we expected this, and we knew that this was going to happen.
It happens every big fight. Every big fight.
And forget about how good Fury is as a fighter. This guy is 6'9", and the way he's able to move in the ring and the things he's able to do, the versatility that this guy has. Who's to say that the same thing wouldn't happen to Joshua if that was Joshua in there? People are saying, oh, well, he won't be able to bully Joshua around like that. Why? Ruiz did?
Why?
Ruiz did? Why can't Fury? Ruiz did? I'm just...
Every time somebody loses, they're just trash. Look at Anthony Joshua when he lost against Ruiz. He was complete trash.
And the same thing's happening.
Completely a hype job. Now that he comes back and wins, Ruiz is trash. So come on, for real? Listen, say what you want about the guy. And we've had our complaints about Deontay Wilder. At least I've had mine. And I've said for a long time he's a one-dimensional guy. He's going to hit you with that right hand. That's that.
Yeah.
And I've said that for a long time. But you can't take credit away from this guy. Has 10 title defenses?
Yep.
9 or 10 WBC title defenses?
Yep.
Come on, man.
Tyson Fury is 6'9", 270 pounds, with athletic ability, speed, coordination, high ring IQ. This isn't Nikolai Valuev. It's not a Nikolai Valuev, with all due respect to him, okay? This is a guy that's big and talented. This is a 6'9" version of Muhammad Ali / Riddick Bowe / Lennox Lewis, all wrapped into one. And you could say whatever you want, Beeb. This, you're going over the top here. You're out of your mind. Bullshit. No. And he could turn southpaw too. And he's just as dangerous southpaw as he is orthodox.
Well, I'll tell you what. He reminded me a lot of Riddick Bowe last night with that inside fighting. Yeah, he really did. He reminded me a lot of Riddick Bowe last night. He executed that plan to perfection, man. He did. You couldn't, he really did. You couldn't have drawn up and executed, because everybody's drawn up plans. But he also did something we had talked about doing for a long time, and that's going to Wilder's body. We never see a whole lot of people going to Wilder's body.
And I told you he would.
Yeah, you're right. And with those uppercuts to the body. And, we talked about going to Wilder's body a long time and never seen anybody do it. He was the only guy that got to and a body shot essentially put him down in the fifth. Wasn't the fifth? And then the third round.
The fifth was the body shot, correct?
Yeah. So the third round, all right. He hit him, and the announcer said it was behind the head. It wasn't, to me, it didn't look like a rabbit punch per se. I know somebody was calling for a disqualification online. Come on, man. Why didn't he disqualify him? It didn't look like a rabbit punch per se, It looked like a legal punch to me, though. I don't think it was a rabbit punch. It wasn't
No,
anything
the
illegal.
first punch that hurt him was the temple shot. And there was a punch to the back of the head. After the temple shot forced him to fall forward. This is what I hate. This is what I hate.
It wasn't
When you watch an offensive sequence, okay?
Yeah.
A guy lands a punch on someone on the side of his head. So when he lands a shot on the side of the head, it forces the guy to turn his body around, and then after that, he propels himself forward, and what's left is his backside. So when the fighter's in the process of throwing a combination, after he lands a big shot and knocks the guy, forcing him to turn and face forward and turn around, and the back of his head is exposed, it happens so quick. It always happens when a combination, one of the punches will stray and hit the back of the head because of the way that the punch, the initial punch that landed, forced the fighter to move. So if you're forcing a fighter to, you hit him on the side of the head, and then he moves this way, and the back of his head is exposed. It's because of the first punch caused him to move that way. And when you're throwing a combination, it's hard to stop in the middle of the punch sequence and say, oh, well, I what are you going to do? You're going to go, you land a big punch and you come back again. There was nothing he could do there.
Right.
It's like incidental contact.
Right.
That wasn't the punch that did the damage. Kellerman's trying to fight. Oh, Kellerman's horrible.
Kellerman's a moron.
He can argue that he got knocked down because he got hit in the back. No, Kellerman. The first punch that did the damage was the temple shot. He was already hurt from that. So
all right. Well, let's do this. Let's argue it that it was from the back of the head, and that's why he went down. Who cares? I mean, honestly, what do you take another point away? You take 2 points away. You're not going to disqualify him for that. You know what I mean? You're not going to disqualify him for that.
But you know what I'm talking about. You hit a guy, his head, on the side of the head, his head spins forward, and then the back of the head is exposed because the punch forced his head to move in that direction, and you're in the middle of the combination, and of course one of the punches is going to hit the back of the head.
Was not an illegal shot.
No.
Not an illegal shot.
It's called incidental contact.
Right. In the 5th round, he hit him with that body shot, that left hook to the liver, man. Yeah. That was a wicked shot. And, I mean, that landed flush, too, and that put him square down with that body shot. I thought that, when he got hit with that shot, I thought, because they didn't have the camera on it. The angle was a little bit different. I thought maybe he was off balance or something like that, and he just got hit. No, it was a solid body shot. Yeah. Right to his liver, man, and that was good. What was the point taken away from Fury? That was Kenny Bayless is an idiot. This
was the one caveat I had. This is the one caveat I had about Kenny Bayless. What did I say about Kenny Bayless that could be a problem here?
He's not going to let him inside.
He doesn't let fighters work on the inside. Yep. So instead of letting guys fight out of the clinch, he breaks them too soon. So in the process of Tyson Fury fighting out of a clinch, he punched Deontay Wilder when Kenny Bayless tried to jump in and break him. And Kenny Bayless thought that the punch was an illegal punch because he told him to break. And he thought that he was punching when he was telling him to break.
That was such nonsense.
Where the problem was Kenny Bayless shouldn't have had them break because Fury fought himself out of the clinch. There was no need to break them up at that point in time. And during the live cast, I went nuts.
And I'll tell you what, not only that, but he seemed to give a lot more, like he would stop it. And it just seemed like he was given more time in between breaks, you know what I mean? Like when he called, I think there was a time where he called him out, then he put him back in his corner. I mean, come on, man.
He did a lousy job last night.
He did a lousy job. All of these refs, like a Jack Reese, like Kenny Bayless, you had talked about like Joe Cortez, all the guys that have these, they're like celebrity, and it goes to their head. Like people are coming to see them. They're not. Nobody cares. Everybody could care less who the ref is. Just don't get too involved in the fight. Don't insert yourself into the fight. And that's what they all do. They insert themselves into the fight, man. I don't get that, man.
It's not about them.
No.
It's really
nobody comes to see you guys ref. So after the point was deducted, in the 7th round, I tell you what, man, they could have stopped this at the end of the 5th round. I mean, they really could have. I mean, he was just getting hammered.
And I apologize to my viewers last night because I was like, this is an early stoppage, but I had the volume down and I didn't realize that the towel was thrown in.
I said the same thing. I said it was a horrible stoppage.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I didn't realize that the towel came in. And on the broadcast, nobody realized the towel came in until afterwards when they were showing the replay that the towel came in or whatever. Because I looked at Kenny, because it was an uncertain stop. It looked like he was going to stop him, and then he broke him and then stopped it. And then he like waved it to stop, and I'm like, what is this guy doing?
I got a feeling that Mark Breland may not be welcome back in this corner moving forward because JD's threw him under the bus.
Are you kidding me? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute.
He wasn't even at the post-fight press conference. It was just JD's and Shelly Finkel.
Let's talk about that for a minute because Deontay Wilder's corner is our train wreck of the week this week. Let me tell you what, the Wilder corner had absolutely no answer for what happened on Saturday.
Do you hear what Ward was saying? Ward was like, why aren't they wiping the blood off him? Why aren't they wiping the blood off him? He was perplexed. He was like astonished.
They didn't seem to be working on the swellings, the cut, anything. You know what it reminded me of? The Mike Tyson Buster Douglas corner in Tokyo. Remember when Aaron Snow would just lean into him and start talking to him, like whispering in his ear or whatever? He said, back him up, right hand. Those were his instructions. That was JD's instructions. Back him up, right hand.
And then 1 minute you had Mark Breland sitting in front of Wilder giving instructions, and then after you had JD's in there. You have too many voices in the corner. And then like they asked JD's at the end, like, who's in charge of throwing in the towel? He goes, well, I'm the head trainer, but we have a unique situation where
it's like football or something.
Like we have like an offensive coordinator, and Mark's like the offensive coordinator giving the instructions, and it's like that makes no fucking sense. You have one head trainer, and that's it. You have one head trainer, one voice in the corner,
and listen,
one lead voice in the corner.
I'll be honest,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
What JD's did, throwing Mark Breland under the bus like that was
awful.
It was despicable.
It was awful.
It was despicable, and I lost a lot of respect for JD's last night because of that.
Listen, man, how much, somebody, I think I answered a question. Somebody was asking on Twitter, and they said, how much of this was just Wilder and how much of this was his corner? I said, well, it's both. I mean, it's really both, because JD's. What qualifies him to be the heavyweight? To train Wilder. I mean, Mark Breland, that's a guy who's qualified. You know what I mean? This is a decorated amateur, probably, you could argue, one of the best amateurs ever in the United States. I mean, he's got the qualification. He's got the resume to train. JD's, I don't know.
But here's the thing. This is the problem what I have with that corner. Wilder was bragging and talking shit about Fury. Oh, well, I have my same team forever. Yeah, but don't you think that's a problem if you had your same team forever? Because you've really not evolved as a fighter. So
not even a little bit.
So Fury basically brought in the right people at the right time for the right situation.
Yeah.
Fury used what I like to call situational intelligence.
Yeah.
He was smart enough to know that, I got to move the chess pieces around if I'm going to fucking win the game. Right? He wanted a different result than the first time. So in order to get a different result, and again, I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback it. I was skeptical. I wasn't on board with it.
We all were. All were.
But again, it's not a problem to change trainers if you're not progressing as a fighter and they're not bringing nothing to the table.
Right.
If the game plan is to lose every round and just have a right hand bail you out, and that's all.
That's it. That's their plan. What are they game planning over there?
If any trainer goes into a fight with that type of strategy and they're happy with that type of strategy, there's a problem. I'm not saying that Deontay Wilder's ever going to be Sugar Ray Leonard. He's ever going to be Floyd Mayweather. He's ever going to be Pernell Whitaker. But again, you could sharpen him up a little bit better than that. Changes like.
Why is a corner? Would you look at his last 10 fights that all ended in, I think everyone except the Fury fight, I believe, probably ended in knockouts, or did end in knockouts. Why would you, as a corner, look at those fights and think that he doesn't need sharpening, or as he's being brought up, that doesn't need to do anything different other than land a right hand?
Do you remember when Emmanuel Stewart took over the corners of Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko?
Yep.
Go back and watch how they changed things up, because both Klitschko and Lennox Lewis, before they had Emmanuel Stewart, look how wide their feet were.
Yeah.
And then the stance became a little bit more narrow. Look how wide Wilder's feet is.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and another thing, look at the hand positioning. A big thing of the Kronk Gym was, Lennox Lewis mentioned this as well, keep that backhand in front of your face, covering your chin and your nose. Because Lennox used to say, every time I used to throw my jab, I would step in and I would always get a bloody nose from a counter jab. Until Manny had me start to pull my backhand in front of my face. Okay? That was an adjustment. Lennox Lewis started, developing a little bit of an inside game, throwing uppercuts, throwing body shots a little bit. And here's another classic Kronk move, and I don't know if you guys picked up on it, because you mentioned how Fury took 2 flush right hands and it was no problem for him.
Yeah.
But go back and watch. It's what's called they rock. They rock on the right hand. So he kind of rock. Yeah. An old Kronk move is what Hearns did this beautifully too. He would rock back and ride out the other guy's right hand and come back with his own.
Right.
So Fury rocked back on the right hand, rocked and came back. Whereas in the first fight, he leaned forward and tried to duck underneath it instead of rocking back away from it. And that's why I don't think there was one right hand, like you mentioned, that landed pretty good, but all the other ones, they were kind of grazing shots, and Fury was able to ride them out.
That second, to me anyway, I thought it was the second round where he got hit with it, and it looked like a flush right hand to me, and he walked right through it. And I mean, that spelled trouble for me right off the bat.
That was the one that gave him that big lump on his temple.
Yeah.
There was one punch that landed flush, but the majority of them, you should see how he rocked back instead of dipping and leaning forward and trying to get pull away and lean away from it underneath it. He rocked back, and when you rock back like that, you see how Sugar Hill was telling him, hold your ground, hold your ground, hold your ground. So you hold your feet, you keep your feet set in that position.
Right.
You rock back away from the punch, and because your feet are still set, you can turn that movement and transition that into an offensive movement really quick. So you rock back and you slip the guy's right hand, and then you come back with your own right hand. He did that on several occasions. That's a Kronk move.
Right.
Because I've watched a lot of Kronk fight. That's a classic Kronk move.
Right.
So there was an influence there.
The other thing too, talking about the corners again. Now after the fight, Deontay Wilder said that basically he says, I don't have any excuses, and then proceeded to give a laundry list of excuses, saying his leg was hurt, this and that, and it wasn't a great training camp, and this and that. JD's took it to a whole different level after the press conference or whatever. I guess they were interviewing him. He said that the outfit that Deontay Wilder had on, that he walked out with, that big Power Ranger, that black Power Ranger outfit he had, comes out, and he said it was heavy, and that may have hurt his leg as well. Dude, come on, stop being a homer. I mean, give me a break. He looked fine at the weigh-in. He looked fine. I mean, I didn't notice any limp when he was walking in the MGM Grand Kitchen to his dressing room. I didn't notice any limps then. So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Don't take it away from Fury. I mean, you listen, man. You don't have to do it. You don't take it away from Fury. He fought a great fight.
Well, let's just compare Joshua after his loss to Ruiz, and let's compare Wilder after his loss to Fury.
That's a good point. That's a real good point.
Joshua said,
quiet.
I have zero excuses. He was the better man tonight.
Yep.
Wilder said, well, I have no excuses, but I had some issues. And he said it multiple times. I had some issues.
I had some issues in camp.
And again, I hate to be a know-it-all here, but I said this last Friday that I questioned whether these last couple camps have been going well for him. Because there always seems to be some type of problem in every fight, whether it be a cold, whether it be a sniffle, whether it be a hand hurting me, an arm hurting me,
Right.
a shoulder hurting. Like, again, you have to question, is the body breaking down? He's 34 years old, going to be 35 shortly.
Yeah.
People, and again, I'm going to repeat myself. Okay, 41 fights. But he never really was hurt in those 41 fights. There were a lot of them were blowouts. Okay, it's not the 41 fights. It's the 41 training camps. The repetitive training. Boxing is a very repetitive thing. And it's very easy to develop overuse injuries in the sport of boxing. I have arthritis in my wrist from boxing. I have a fucked up elbow from boxing. I have a torn labrum, possibly from boxing, and possibly partly from weightlifting. So when when you continue to do the same thing, you keep throwing the same, throwing punch over and over again, making the same continuous movement over and over again. It's very easy to develop overuse injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
agreed. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, hey, listen, 40-some odd fights, like you said, 40-some odd training camps.
41 training camps.
And he's 34 years old, going to be 35.
And he's 34 years old, going on 35. And,
he made 20 million his last fight or something, maybe something like that.
Yep.
I don't know how much he made for the other Fury pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Rumor has it he could make around 30, 20 to anywhere from the number I'm hearing, anywhere from 20 to 40 million, just depending on.
I'm hearing 30, bottom end 35, upwards of 40. So who knows?
Yeah. So, listen, man, when you're making that kind of money, you're not as hungry as you were. I don't care what anybody says. You're just not going to be that hungry. Not like you were.
Well, but again, the body's starting to break down. That's why Andre Wood retired. He said, my body's starting to break down.
Yeah. So you got to wonder, we talked about, let's talk about what's next for each guy. I tell you what, for Fury, I mean, could the world get any brighter? Fury is now in the best position for me anyway. He's the best position ever. Anthony Joshua is going to face Pulev next, which is a top-ranked fighter. If Pulev wins, what's next. I mean, that's beautiful. If Joshua wins, Eddie Hearn's already stated that he wants to fight for Joshua. That's a huge money fight for Fury. I mean, especially in the UK. The other way, if Pulev wins, that fight's going to be made 100% next. And then you got all three belts and you're fighting for the unification. So, I mean, let's talk about Fury first before we go to Wilder. But Fury, I tell you what, man, that's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all.
Well, here's the problem, because again, this is like deja vu. It's almost the same situation that Joshua found himself in, that Wilder finds himself in now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem, and I spoke about this earlier today. When we've said this several times, Joshua is the more skilled fighter when you look at him versus Wilder. He has power in both hands. He can box a little bit. He can fight okay on the inside a little bit. Like, he had a plan B to fall back on. At least there's a plan B in his arsenal. I don't think there's a plan B in Wilder's arsenal. Like, I don't think he has, like, he can't do what Joshua did in the second Ruiz fight. As much as people criticize Joshua for doing, as much as people criticize Joshua for doing that, at least he has the ability to do that. Wilder, mentally and just not only mentally, but just physically, he just doesn't have the muscle memory to do that because he's never done it. His game is just not that. Joshua showed us that he could fight on the back foot in that fight. He can fight on the back foot in that fight. Wilder cannot fight on the back foot.
No.
Now, does that mean that Joshua will do a better job against Fury than Wilder? Possibly. But I still have a hard time seeing Joshua beating Fury too.
Yeah, I have a tough time. I even had a tough time, even prior to his Ruiz loss, even prior to that loss against Ruiz, I had a tough time seeing him beat Fury. Because Fury is a better boxer.
Yeah.
He can move. I would give the power edge to Joshua. But all in all, man, I tell you what, I would have to ride with Fury on that one. No question about that. For me, anyway. Scott Smith says, is it too late for Wilder to expand his skill set? I think it may be. He is a one-trick pony. I can go ahead and answer that for you. Yeah, absolutely. It's too late for him to expand his skill set. Because if he could have expanded his skill set, he would have expanded his skill set. It's that simple. Cannot do it anymore. He's too old.
Yeah, he's too old. A lot of people want to throw out that first Ruiz fight with Joshua, and they actually are really overlooking the second Ruiz fight with Joshua, where Ruiz did put him under some pressure, and he looked a little bit uncomfortable, even in spots in that fight.
Yeah.
You guys are just assuming everything is hunky-dory with Joshua psychologically. You don't know if he's like, he could turn into an Amir Khan. Like, remember how Amir Khan got knocked out by Breeders Prescott and then he started changing the style? Klitschko got knocked out a few times. He changed the style.
Or Hector Camacho.
Yeah, like
with Edwin Rosario.
All these guys, like you guys think that Joshua just gonna flip the switch and turn into a killer again. Maybe he will, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
No.
I got to see him again before.
May have found a new style. He may have found a new style. You know,
Fury. We've seen Fury get hurt several times, get knocked down several times in fights, and he's got balls of steel. He doesn't give a fuck.
No,
he doesn't give a fuck. He's a different animal. He's a different animal. Okay,
I think that's what makes him different. In the sense that I remember Lance Armstrong saying, he's probably not the best because he used PEDs, but I remember Lance Armstrong saying that the reason he wins is because he's not scared to leave it all out there. Some people are scared to give it their all and leave it out there. And that's Fury. Yeah. He's not scared to leave it out there. And if he wins, he wins. And if he loses, he loses, but he knows he left it out there.
This is what people don't understand. Like, everyone's saying, well, Joshua should have fought that way because of, what Ruiz did to him in the first fight, blah, 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 blah. But what about what Wilder did to Fury in that 12th round? You don't think that would have a residual effect on a normal fighter? You don't think after that, any other normal fighter would go into the rematch with that same guy who knocked him down and almost knocked him out tentatively?
Right.
Fury didn't give a fuck. Fury had Fury had every reason to fight Wilder in this rematch, the same way Joshua fought Andrew Ruiz in his rematch, because Wilder's much more dangerous than Andrew Ruiz. Can we agree on that? Yeah. And Fury was a half a second away from being knocked out in the first fight.
Yeah. And
he still went in there saying, I don't give a fuck. I am still going to knock this guy out. I'm willing to go into the fire. He went into the fucking fire. With all due respect, Joshua did not go into the fire.
No.
In his rematch with Ruiz. So that is the difference between these two men. And if you can't see that, you don't want to see that. Not you, but people out there. If you guys can't see that, then you don't want to see it. You're covering your eyes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's the difference. And you have to fucking acknowledge that these guys are not built the same way.
No. But you know what? I will tell you about both guys. Both guys obviously are capable of adjustments. And the question was posed, can Wilder adjust? 100% no. He cannot. Because again, listen, man. Let me ask you a question. Beeb.
Sure.
We both know who Mark Breland is, right? We both know who Mark Breland is, one of the best amateurs ever. Let me ask you, if you spent 2 weeks with him, how much knowledge would you take away? You'd take away a ton, right?
I'd take away an encyclopedia. He's
been with him for 40 some odd fights. You can't tell me Mark Breland likes what he sees. They were working on left hooks in camp and everything like that because, look, it just is. They're trying to do the best, but it's like he goes back to what he knows. You cannot change that. He is who he is. There's nothing more you can do with him. Nah. And the blueprint's out there now.
Yeah.
And now what? The blueprint's out there.
That's right.
Don't be on the end of that right hand.
That's right.
Blueprint solved.
That's right.
So let's talk about what's next for Wilder, man. Listen, man, if I'm Wilder's manager, all right, I throw out that rematch clause. He's been handled twice by Tyson Fury now. He's been handled in both fights. He lost that first fight handily. That first fight was a little, obviously a little closer than the second one, but he lost that first fight. Both of them, we gave 3 rounds. I think we both gave him 3 rounds in that first fight.
I gave him 3 rounds.
All right. So there's 3 rounds. You know, he's won 3 rounds in 2 fights with him. In what, 19 rounds maybe? Yeah, right around 19 rounds.
Yeah.
Listen, you ain't beating this guy. He's got your number. All right? It is what it is. He's got your number now.
Yeah.
You know, you've been handled twice. He's 34 years old. Gonna be 35 here soon. It's not like bringing a new trainer is going to help him, because they're going to fire Mark Breland after this, because JD's was like, you know, oh, we didn't agree with the towel throwing in. Son, Mark Breland was the only one who gave a darn about his fighter in there.
Yeah, that
he really was. JD's like, well, I'll let him go out on the shield. What are you, stupid? Son, this is why you're in the corner, to help him out.
He's got kids, man.
You know, this is why you're in the corner, to protect your fighter, not to obey his commands. You're there to protect his fighter. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. You know, so, you know, they're going to fire Breland, and maybe they bring in somebody else. Maybe they don't. Maybe JD's takes over and does what he's done.
Breland's gone. Breland's gone.
100% he's gone. You know, but if he wants to continue, which I'm assuming he does, I would get him a couple of comeback fights to get his confidence back, and then go after some bigger fish. Listen, man, that heavyweight title is going to be fractured sooner than later. And at that point, he could go in there and get a belt. But, you know, now, like, you know, you got him. You got Uncle Creepy Usyk in there. You got, you know, hey, you got 3 good guys now. I mean, who would you favor in the Usyk fight? I would favor Usyk over Wilder now. You just would. Yeah. You can't throw Wilder in there with a big fish right now. You cannot put him back in there with Fury.
Well,
there's no listen. I don't want. You know how I feel about rematches anyway, and I think I'm in the minority here. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah,
I'm going to be real honest with you. I was not excited for that fight at all yesterday. I was not excited at all until it got to fight day. Until we got to fight day. I wasn't excited at all for that fight.
I had goosebumps the whole day. I was like a kid waking. I was like a kid waking up the morning of Christmas.
Until, you know, I sat down and started watching that fight.
So ESPN and Fox. I'm gonna say something that many people may disagree with, and I don't give 2 shits. This was the best promoted fight I've ever seen in the history of the sport of boxing.
Nah, I disagree with that, man.
I have never seen a better promotion than this fight. Don't say Pacquiao Mayweather was promoted good.
No, because that only had 2 months. I think they announced it like 2 months.
That was May,
months.
And I'm not counting Mayweather McGregor, because that was a sideshow.
Right, but it was promoted great. You and I, the fact that it drawed you and I in,
I know,
and we were there. All right, so we were there. We were ripping this fight until we saw that first press conference, and then we were done, man. We were hooked. We were completely hooked. To me, that was the best one. This was good, though. This was good. This was good.
I like this one better. I like this one
This
better.
was the best boxing.
You had Fox.
Fight.
You had Fox and ESPN. You had both guys. You had guys on all the Fox, like they were both on the ESPN shows, the Fox shows. They had a Super Bowl. They had a Super Bowl ad for this fight. Come on, Eric.
It was weird to see it, wasn't it?
Super Bowl ad.
I was so glad that they limited Mark Kriegel's time on there.
You're killing me here.
Him and that Kate Abdo chick. I was so
glad.
I love her.
Oh, I love her.
I'm lukewarm on her.
Oh, I love her. She's so beautiful.
She could fix me dinner or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
But Mark Kriegel, I can't stand. Mark Kriegel,
I'm actually starting to like Mark Kriegel a little bit, and I'll tell you why.
How dare you?
Because he's starting to kind of settle into his role a little bit. He's not overstepping his boundaries. Like, he was overstepping his boundaries before.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be the biography guy, the backstory guy. And he's settled into that, and he's not really talking too much about the tactics anymore. So I'm starting to kind of like him a little bit.
Yeah. I tell you who I liked a lot was Lennox Lewis and Andre Ward.
Yeah.
Working together. I thought they were great working together.
Krista Green says she doesn't think it was promoted that well in the UK.
That's possible. That's possible.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea about that, but
Notorious said ringside Robbie better call in. No, he's not. I don't believe he's going to call in today, but he didn't watch the fight last night. He didn't watch it. So
he called in. He calls in last week to tell us he's not watching the fight this week. What the fuck sense does that's like that would be like going into work, right, and saying I'm calling in sick today, but I just wanted to come in and tell you.
Well, I will tell you.
How much fucking sense does that make?
I'll tell you this. He didn't want to watch it because of the undercard.
Too bad.
And he didn't want to pay the $80 because of the undercard.
Was the $80 worth? Was the $80 worth the main event?
100%.
Thank you.
And let me tell you what.
Thank you.
Because, and I was tweeting about this too last night. I said, this undercard is drizzling you know what. I said, this undercard sucks. I said, this main event better be worth it. And man, it sure was. I
promised you this main event was going to be worth it.
Chris, you know who's the other one? Chris Carlson. He tweeted me because he called me out on the last show because he was like, can't believe you don't think it's worth it. And the undercard sucks.
Chris Carlson's an OG, man.
I said the undercard sucks, dude. You know, I mean, you can't even tell me that this is even. He was like, the main event alone will be worth it.
Can I repeat the story that I told you? Can I repeat the story that I told you before the show started?
No. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I was telling Eric before the show started that I was watching the fight in my bedroom, and I was gonna. I was watching the pay-per-view in my bedroom, and I was gonna when I was gonna start to do the live cast, I was gonna come out to the living room. So my brother comes home, and he goes into my room, and he wakes me up. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing? The fight's gonna start in 10 minutes." I fell asleep. I was dead asleep for the whole card, and my brother had to wake me up for the main event. But I don't even give a fuck. I DVR'd the whole card anyways, and I ended up watching the main event like 3 times already. I love that. Yeah. I love the fight.
Well, like I was telling you now, like I said, I mean, we're going, we got some different stuff going on over here, but I watched on the ESPN app, and I don't think I can go back and watch it again. Now I know, like on DirecTV, I could, and like cable, you can. I don't know that and maybe I'm wrong, but I couldn't go back there and watch. I couldn't go watch it again, so I had to watch like YouTubes and like different clips of it, different like they got the slow motion clips of it and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I tell you what, man, Robert definitely missed this was one of those things where I get it, I get why he didn't watch it because again, man, that undercard was terrible. I get it, but at the end of the day, man, it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's complaining about it. Nobody's complaining about it. And, for me to say the rematch was worth it, man, because I hate rematches, But let me ask you, let me throw it to you here for a second here. When we talk about the rematch and stuff like that, is there a reason to have a third fight? I mean, this was completely...
Okay.
This was completely one-sided. We've had 2 fights now that were completely one-sided. Why do we need to see a third? Beeb?
My friend Francisco called me this morning, and he asked me this. He said he does not want to see a third fight, and he said there should not be a third fight because if Wilder's team cares about his health, they will not put him in there for a third time with Fury. And my response to that was, as a fan, I have no desire to see a third fight because this was a conclusive ending. But if I am managing Wilder, okay, I am going to put him in there a third time and possibly cash him out. As bad as that may sound.
That's a good point.
Because he's 30.
But let me ask you, does it make that kind of money?
It's going to make more money than any other fight Wilder could fight right now. Yeah.
What about Joshua?
That fight won't sell now.
Really?
Wilder versus Joshua, it won't sell now.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think there's going to be a call for it now. But here's the thing. He's guaranteed 40% in a rematch. If he goes and fights Joshua, they'll probably throw 20 at him because he lost.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's guaranteed 40% in the rematch. And here's the thing. People are talking about Wilder. Who cares? Wilder lost. Are people going to want to see him again? People are going to want to see Fury again. Fury made... Yeah. All eyes were on Fury Fury's
Crazy.
Fury could fight anyone now and do pretty well. Because look at all the people that turned out for this fight yesterday, and Fury had all eyes on him, and he performed perfectly under the circumstances. Fury's stock went up a ton yesterday. It went up a ton. Right. So will this fight do as well as the fight did last night? Probably not, but it would still do pretty well. I think this fight did 1 million pay-per-view buys yesterday. I'm pretty confident on that, judging by the buzz and judging by...
It'll be interesting, yeah. It'll be interesting to see the numbers when they come out, because they're going to come out.
The rematch may do like maybe 500,000 or 600,000.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. So
no.
From a financial standpoint, Wilder could get damaged in any fight now at this point. Anytime you step in that ring, you put your life on the line, and you could lose. Look what happened to Joshua against Ruiz. That could happen to Wilder too, moving forward. So if you're gonna go in there again, you might as well put him in there with someone that where he can get paid the most amount of money. So quite honestly, from a fan standpoint, I don't want to see the rematch. But if I'm managing Wilder, I'm going to put him in there and set him up for the rest of his life financially. But then my friend countered me with, well, what about, don't you care about his health? Isn't his health more important than the money? But again, my reply was, it is, but Wilder could get hurt and be damaged in any fight. Look what happened. Like I said, look what happened with Ruiz and Joshua. Joshua suffered a concussion against the guy he was a 20-1 favorite against. Who's to say that Wilder can't get injured in fighting someone that's not a Fury's level?
Right.
So you might as well, if you're going to put someone in a situation where he can get hurt, you might as well put him in a situation where you can make the most money in doing so. Right.
Right.
So that's my theory behind.
That's
the whole
interesting.
thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's the way I look at it.
Well, it's like you said. I mean, is it a cash out? Or, because
it's a cash out.
I don't see him beating him again. I really don't.
You've
lost 2 fights to him.
Who's he going to fight? If he doesn't fight him, who's he going to fight next? You were the heavyweight champ of the world. The same thing. Like we
fight some comeback fights. That's about it.
But how much you're going to make, and
right.
What is that going to do for you at this point in your career? You've been on the top of the mountain. Now you're going to take a step back. There's no turning back now. Yeah. There's no turning back now, right? He's probably going to lose again, but so you put him in a situation where he can make the most amount of money and set him up for the rest of his life.
Right. All right, let's talk about a lot of money and talking about being set up for life. 516 Jesse Rican is on the line here.
Brian owes Jesse Rican $200. He's not in the chat. He's not returning emails. I'm a little disappointed right now.
Yeah. So Jesse, talk to us about what's going on. Have you heard from Brian at all?
Brian, come out and play. Come out and play. I actually listened back to our the rewatch on that show, and actually, Beeb, I owe you an apology. Sugar Shane never took a loss and said he lost it to 6 in that. I rewatched that episode.
Yeah, don't worry about that, man. We're good with that. We're good with that. Don't worry about that, man. You have to.
Well, what I did watch was
my little brother.
Brian talking all this shit, and he said, "Let's do it now." Brian, come on and play. Come on and
Brian's
play,
hiding,
baby.
man. Brian's hiding.
It's not a good look.
Brian's in a bunker somewhere in Las Vegas, man.
Beeb, let me ask you this, because I know you said that Jesse texted Brian. Did you text Brian, or not text Brian, but email?
Did I email Brian? No, I did not.
Why don't you?
I will
bust
now.
out an email to him and say, hey, did you get the information for Jesse and the PayPal and everything like that, or whatever?
Yeah. No, but listen, I was rewatching the episode. I don't mean to cut you off. I was rewatching the episode, and Brian said we can make it happen right here, right now, and I said okay.
The bet's agreed upon.
And
it was a bet.
Confirmation.
The bet's agreed upon.
It was a bet, no question.
And it's only $200, man. It's only $200. It's not like a car note or anything.
No, Beeb, but
fucking
Beeb,
cable
I
bill.
understand it's only
It's a cable
200,
bill.
Yeah,
but
right.
come on, if it, the
Anymore
way
it
he's
is.
talking, you got to be a man of your word, man.
Of course, you got to be a man, and
You gotta
we'll
be a
remind
man
him
of
every
your
time he calls in that he didn't pay you.
You don't want to be a Corey on the show.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Whoa!
it's true. It's true. Remember when Corey bet me? He
Whoa.
bet me a couple of times. Couldn't pay up either time. Or he didn't want to pay up or whatever. You remember the first time we bet Corey was the what fight was that? I know it was David Hay.
David
but,
Hay.
And
David
Tony
Hay
Bellew. And I took Tony
Tony
Bellew.
Bellew. You took Tony Bellew
I took
the
Tony
first
Bellew.
time when no one was taking.
No one was
That,
taking Tony Bellew.
that was your best pick of all time.
Yeah. No one was taking Tony Bellew.
What was Hay? How big of a favorite was Hay for that
He was
first fight?
big. He was a
Was he
big
like an
favorite.
8-1? Was he like an 8-1?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
And I just said, nah, he's not going to beat Bellew, man. And sure enough, he didn't. But Corey, we had a bet going on. Corey didn't pay. He just skipped out of the show for 6-7 weeks, So, he didn't pay. But you don't want to do that on the show.
Brian,
Listen, if you
come
guys
out and
bet,
play,
you bet.
Brian.
Exactly. Well, listen, man.
Brian, come out and play. We got video footage, Brian.
Radio footage.
Come up.
We're gonna
We
Beeb's
got
gonna
video
text
footage, Brian.
Beeb's gonna text Brian, and we're gonna find out what's going on, Jesse, and we'll
I
let
gotta
you know
email.
what's going on. Yeah,
Gotta
we'll
email him,
email him
let him know
and
what's
Yo,
see what's up. What's
What-
up?
Wasn't that a master? Look, I thought Fury was going to win. Not like that. I
No,
was even calling Beeb. I'm like, yo, Beeb, I'm a little nervous. And Beeb said, bro, don't worry. He's going to lean into him. I don't think anybody expected that performance, though, right? Like, that was a match.
Except for Beeb. I mean, me and Tyson Fury talk, man. I'm just being honest.
Beeb called it. Beeb
We
called
talk.
it. He called
Me and Tyson Fury talk. I don't want to get too deep into it
No,
because
Beeb,
but me and Tyson Fury talk.
Listen. Beeb said he was.
like Corey Lee.
He said he was going to win. He was like, but he did not know. It was not. Nobody predicted it was going to be this impressive. Nobody.
I gotta give Ralph credit. Ralph was the only one that I know that picked Fury by knockout. He did pick Fury by knockout.
Oh, Raphael Dawkins.
I said
Yeah.
Fury by decision, but I was telling people take the under at 10.5 because
He said mid-fight too. Yeah, mid-fight.
I think he said
know.
like 7 or 8 rounds. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did call it.
yeah,
Give him
mid-fight. Look
credit.
at that.
I don't know anyone that picked him. I just said Fury to win.
I heard Corey Lee picked him at knockout in the 7th round for Fury.
I was trying. My friend liked Wilder, and I told him no, man. I told him no. Fury's gonna win this fight, but I said if you're a little bit nervous, just take the under at 10.5. Imagine if you bet Fury and you bet the under at 10.5, you got paid on both ends. How fucking good is that? Dwyer, for the first time in the history of Dwyer making bets, he finally got paid on both ends. This is a guy. I'm gonna bet this guy by just to win, and the other
Dwyer's funny, man. He's so monotone on that show, man.
and I'm gonna bet the other guy by KO. This time he picked Fury. He picked Fury to win, and he took the under. Finally got paid on both ends.
Yeah,
Most of the time he gets. Most of the time he'll bet. Wait a minute, Jesse. Wait a minute. Most of the time he'll pick somebody, right? He'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna bet this guy by knockout." And I'm going to bet this other guy to win. And the guy loses, and the guy he picks by knockout wins by decision, and he loses on both ends all the time. And he finally won. He finally won.
Yo, I remember his Oscar De La Hoya. Manny Pacquiao bet. He said the ref shouldn't even be there. There's going to be a massacre.
Oh yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya is going to win by a landslide.
Me and him are the only ones that picked Khan to beat Canelo. Me and him.
You know what I like about The Wire though? He knows about gambling, and Beeb, I told you. I think if you do your own show, you'll be better. Not your own show apart from this, but if you do your own gambling predictions, you'll be 1,000% better. Because Beeb called me. He's like,
He
bro,
does gambling predictions. Do you not listen to the show?
Fury and Undercard.
Do you not listen to the show? He
And
doesn't
I'm
listen
like,
to the
yeah.
show. Dude, he does these predictions all the time. What's the matter with you?
No,
He does them all the time.
That's what I'm telling him.
But what I'm saying is it's already done. That's like you saying, I wish somebody would invent a car. They already have cars. He already does it on the show.
No, but he should. What I'm saying, he should do his own YouTube video just specifically for the bettors.
He does.
Oh, okay. I'm retarded.
All right, Jesse, I'll tell you what, we're going to move along here, man. Let's see here.
But I want my $200, baby.
All right, we'll work on that.
We're not responsible for paying you. We're going to try to get it for you, though. Beeb's going to talk to Brian.
Listen, I'm not a bookie. I'm not a bookie, and I'm not.
What do you want us to do? Break his legs?
And I'm not. And I'm not a leg breaker. I'm not a leg breaker. Okay.
Yo, you know what?
He's not a leg breaker.
All right.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Shake him down? You know.
What do you want me to do? Call up? What do you want me to do? Call up the Angulo brothers? Put a hit out on this guy? Fuck. Lois, get Johnny Angulo on line 2, please.
Got Johnny Angulo on line 2.
Fuck. What do you want to do? Put a hit on this guy?
Yeah. Get a couple of pipes together, head out to Cali. You know, I mean, whatever you want us to do.
Remember in Casino when Sharon Stone tells Nikki Joe Pesci to kill Robert De Niro?
Yeah. Right.
What do you want me to do? I've known this guy for 20 years. You want me to whack him for you?
you know, make some calls. You know what to do. You know. Notorious says Brian will never be heard from again. He'll run off to Cuba.
Oh, God, this is crazy.
All right, let's go to, I believe this is Maryland, 443. 443, you're live.
Is this Wood?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Wood, man.
Wood.
What's going on,
man?
brother?
I'm what's up, man? I'm right now, man. I'm so emotional. I've been hugging my kids, and I've been looking at them and just telling them how much I love them because of the Deontay Wilder ring entrance. You know, it's Black History Month.
That's right.
I'm a proud Black American.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm a proud Black American. And I seen that costume and all the lyrics that the guy was singing. I don't know what his name was, but the guy was singing these touchy lyrics, and I'm just so overwhelmed with joy, and I was just so emotionally invested, and I just ain't hell with the fight, but the ring entrance just overwhelmed me, and I just want to let y'all know, man, that's a bunch of crack of bullshit. Deontay Wilder got his ass beat, man. He got his ass beat, man. He been getting away with doing the same thing over and over again, and it's just like it's not what Tyson Fury did, it's what Deontay Wilder didn't do. A lot of people taking away Tyson Fury victory. They people making excuses up. The guy didn't fight, and Tyson Fury did everything he's supposed to do. He walked forward. He didn't do anything special. He walked forward. He wasn't no Sugar Ray Robinson in there. He wasn't no Pernell Whitaker or Mayweather. He just walked forward and beat up a guy that refused a one trick pony. He beat up a one trick pony yesterday, and that one trick pony got a hell of a trick now. Yeah. That trick can put you the fuck to sleep if you ain't careful. But he did something different. But one thing, a lot of people not giving Tyson Fury credit for, he got a hell of a ring IQ, man.
That's right.
His ring IQ is bar none up there because he knew exactly how to neutralize that right hand. He neutralized that right hand. He knew exactly what he needed to do, and he did everything. He did everything he's supposed to do. But it's not what he didn't do. He ain't had to do a whole lot. Because Wilder didn't do shit. Wilder didn't do nothing but sit back and cock that right hand up. Everybody knows you're going to. It's like a basketball player. I want to use the analogy of a basketball player. It's like a basketball player. He only can go left. Everybody in the whole NBA knows that's what you're going to do. You're going to go left.
You're going to go left.
And everybody been. But your first few years in the league,
Nobody has been able to stop it. But now people get a chance to watch game tape, watch film and all that type of shit. Now people stop it. That's why a great player always had 3 or 4 different moves. Unless you was Kareem, and Kareem didn't do the same. Kareem didn't do the same. The sky hook, he did it over both shoulders. He did that sky hook. It was just unstoppable. He was had unstoppable pat move. But that move Deontay Wilder had was not unstoppable. It just had now the blueprint is out on him. Now let's see what he do now. Let's see the adjustments he make. Now he been hard headed and everything is working. Now when the shit don't work, let's see what you do now. And his team been watching him. That's why I think he should let somebody go, because his team been watching him.
Oh, Mark Breland's getting fired, trust me.
And react the same way and don't and say it again.
I said Mark Breland's getting fired.
I say it again.
Mark Breland's going to get fired after
Mark
this one.
Breland's going to get fired after this one. They threw him under the bus yesterday.
Yeah.
Undeserving, by the way.
He's the best part of that team, and they're getting rid of him.
He didn't want to stop the fight. I don't think. Affirmative action can't even help him out. I don't even think affirmative action can help him, man. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
Affirmative action, Jesse Jackson, none of the motherfuckers, the Rainbow Coalition, nobody can help this motherfucker. He out of there, man.
He's gone, yeah. He ain't coming back.
He out of there, man. But yeah, man, it's a lot. I don't want to take the whole show hostage, but man, I want to see. I like how he. This is the last thing I gotta say. I like how he said, "Yeah, I heard a whole lot of things going on, but I don't want to make no excuses." Motherfucker, you just made an excuse.
It made a ton of them too.
I got a whole
and he said it more than one time too. He said it more than one time.
I got a whole lot of things going on, and I wasn't 100%, but I don't want to make no excuses. All right, y'all. Hey, man, this the heavyweight division, man. It's the heavyweight division. You know, my Tyson Fury looking like the man right now, but somebody might come and clip him. But it seems like he might look like shit against Uchiwali or anybody else. He looked like shit, but when he fight
been telling you guys,
when
man.
Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder, that motherfucker be fired the fuck up. He come to fight
guys.
every time he fight Deontay Wilder. This nigga come to fight.
He fights to the level of his opposition,
That's for
man.
sure.
Yep.
He look like.
He fights to the level of his opposition,
again.
man. I say he fights to the level of his opposition. Before the Klitschko fight, everyone was saying, "Oh, look at this fight, look at that fight. There's no way he's beat Klitschko." And I told him he's going to beat Klitschko. I told everybody. Nobody wants to listen, bro. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, for real. He living proof. He fight to the level of his competition. He gets the fuck up for big fights. When he comes to a big fight, this motherfucker, he get in the gym. He get pumped up. But Uchiwali, he ain't do nothing to Uchiwali, man. He just let Uchiwali do what the fuck he want to do. But Deontay Wilder, he gets pumped up. He locks in. He locks in when it comes to big competition, man. But he gonna beat the shit out of but Wilder don't have a whole lot of change. If Wilder just throw more punches. They just throw more punches and double. My old boxing coach used to tell me all the time, if you can touch somebody with the jab, if you can touch somebody with the jab, you can hit him with the right hand. You can hit him with the right hand. If you can touch him with the jab, you can hit him with the right hand. So Wilder always out of range. He's never in range, and then he think he just can shoot in and out of range. No, you got to always master your range, and then you can get your punches off without falling in and being all off balance and shit like that. My coach used to always talk. Shout out to Mr. Walker. If you can put the jab hand on him, you can hit it with the right hand. But that's all I gotta say, y'all. I'm out this bitch, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, man.
All right, Wood. Wood with a good call as usual, man.
Calls Otto Wall and Uchiwali. That's funny.
Let's talk about something here that I don't know that we touched on yet. We talked about Wilder's weight, and he came in at 231 again, the heaviest of his career. I noticed, and I think you did too, after that third round, he looked completely gassed out.
Yeah.
He looked completely gassed out.
Yeah.
And that's something we're not used to seeing from Wilder. We're used to seeing him being able to carry it all the way to the 12th round and still having power in the 12th round and still moving in the 12th round.
Yeah.
And again, I'll point to his weight. In that first one, he was about 20 pounds lighter, give or take. And this one, 20 pounds heavier. I don't know what the thinking was, what the rationale was for him coming in that heavy. I don't understand.
He looked a little bit tired in the first Fury fight too, but not as bad as this time. But
no.
But Fury has a way of putting his weight on Wilder. He has a way of wearing Wilder down. He muscles Wilder and bodies him a lot when he fights him. He did the same thing to Steve Cunningham too. Like Fury, if he's a lot bigger than you, he'll try to body you. He'll go in there and body you. He bodied Wilder in both fights, I thought. Not as
Rito
much.
said it was a shot to the back of the head. No, it wasn't.
Nah, you ain't getting that. You ain't gonna get that.
No.
You ain't getting that, bro. Come on. It was the first shot that hit him in the ear, in the temple area. Come on, stop.
He was choking him too. Amadio says he was choking him too.
Yeah,
I did notice that. Did you notice the guillotine he was putting on him? So like when they would clinch, he would come up with this arm and go right underneath him, and kind of push it up there, and it does. It'll block you.
I told you.
Those are veteran tricks, though. Those are veteran. Every fighter, you'll see it. A lot of fighters do that.
I told you we were bringing
is what it is.
We were bringing the bag of gangster tricks to the party last night.
I said it last night. I said it last night during the fight. I said there's a lot of dirty boxing by Fury. It's a lot of roughhouse. It's a lot of this. It's a lot of that. But if you're the champion, hey, you got to be able to deal with that.
I mean, come on. Are these Wilder fans really gonna start crying now? Come on, stop.
Yes, it was. All right. What does Cozy say here?
Stop.
It knocked off his equilibrium and he leaned on him and choked him out. Like what were we talking about? Come on, son.
Sound foolish.
On, son.
I told you guys the internet is forever. People are gonna read these comments, man.
Yeah, it's clinching tactics. Boxing Freak said it's clinching tactics.
People are going to read these comments. What about when the real Tyson used to elbow people and shit?
Or Holyfield. Look at Holyfield was known as a dirty fighter.
Holyfield,
he was called a dirty fighter by all the other fighters,
Tim Bradley,
it is.
Tim Bradley, Andre Ward, Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's boxing, bro. It's not fucking hopscotch.
That's it. Yeah, you guys do sound silly. Anybody defending Wilder's performance last night by saying that he got hit, in the back of the head, or he was, come on, man, you sound silly. Dude, stop it.
Come on, man. And Wilder, every time Fury punches Wilder's like this all the time. It's like this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude, stop.
Yeah, it was just, like I said, if anything else, I mean, Kenny Bayless was catering to Wilder more than he was catering to Fury.
We already explained, Cozy, that the first punch that landed on the temple moved Wilder and spun his body around after he got hit with the shot. And then as Fury was throwing the combination, one of the punches did land on the back of the head. But the other two punches were the ones that did the damage. He was already hurt from the first two punches.
Right.
So stop. The punch that hurt Wilder was the punch on the ear. It knocked off his equilibrium. That's a legal punch. We already know this. If again, you guys want to just have this cognitive dissonance when something doesn't go the way you want it to go, you try to create your own narrative. It's not going to fly here. It's not.
Well, I think there's a lot of people like emotionally invested in Wilder too. I mean, there are a lot of people, and people get emotionally invested in athletes and fighters and teams and everything.
But here's the thing. I'm emotionally invested in Tyson Fury. I love the guy. Yeah. But he's not the lineal champion. You don't go on hiatus for 2 years and then come back. It's like, can you walk into your job tomorrow and say, hey man, I'm going to be away for 2 years. But
I never got fired from the supervisor position.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is he the lineal champ now?
Yes.
I think so too.
Well, he's not. It doesn't matter if he's the lineal champion or not. He's the real champ. He's the man.
He's the man.
He's the man.
He said last night, and I didn't realize this, he's the first guy ever to win the ring belt 2 different times.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it, but he's right.
Wow.
But I don't know if I can't remember anybody else doing it. But
the ring really likes him for whatever reason. Even after the first fight that was a draw, everyone at the ring, Mike Montero was telling me, everyone at the ring thought that Fury won that first fight, so they ranked him over Wilder after.
I didn't see any credible source that had Wilder winning that first fight.
No.
Every credible source that I looked at, and I'm not talking about like the fans, of course, but any credible source that I looked at had him winning that fight, or had Fury winning that fight handily.
See, yeah, you're right. See, Reese Mack explained it perfectly. He said Wilder actually got caught with a left hook before the air shot. It was part of a 1-2 combo from Fury. Yeah, It was a combination. Fury landed a left hook, then he threw a right hand on the temple, and then Wilder spun around. And as he was continuing the combination, one of the punches hit him in the back of the head. But the damage from the first 2 punches is what hurt Wilder. So stop trying to make it sound like it was the third punch that did all the damage. It's ridiculous.
Burgess Meredith said, how about Mayweather? I think he won the ring belt twice also. I don't know. I don't know.
So.
I'm just going by what Fury said.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not even sure if Mayweather ever won the ring belt. Because he never... I
thought he would have. I wonder if they're talking about it in the same weight class, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe he won it after he beat Pacquiao. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sin City Man said, so who is the lineal champion? Tyson Fury is now the lineal champion because he's now the man. Who is the A side in that fight, Beeb? Fury or Joshua? Tough one.
It's Joshua's still the big. I don't know. I mean,
still the big fish, man.
I don't know how this is going to affect
3
Fury.
of the 4 belts.
I don't know how this is going to affect Fury over in the UK. I don't know how the UK public, but the UK public love Joshua.
Yeah, they do.
Even when he lost, I mean.
Sure.
The rematch was still huge with it broke the pay-per-view record over there. The rematch with Ruiz. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big draw over there, man. If that fight does happen, you think it takes place in the UK?
Maybe. Fury said no. Fury wants to fight in Vegas.
Why not? It's a big fight there.
They want the fight in Saudi. Aram doesn't want the fight in Saudi.
Yeah, no.
So
no way.
So we'll see, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward here.
Yeah, judges' scorecards. I don't know if you guys caught this or not. Judges' scorecards, it was all a shutout. I mean, up until the final bell.
One judge gave Wilder the second round, and that was about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you can make a case for it, but they all had
Fury was way up.
Fury way up.
No bullshit. I knew there wasn't going to be any bullshit this time with the scorecards because, like I said, Fury had ESPN behind him. There was really no A side here.
Yeah, because both guys were promoted. ESPN is the house, but even if you're not, I mean, you couldn't have. There's no way you could have had Wilder head at any point in this fight. I mean, dominated. I thought every second of every round. Cozy Ritto said, "What's the call-in number?" As usual, it's up on the screen: 323-870-3857. Why don't people look at the screen and see it? I don't know.
Jesse Regan asks me every week what the fucking calling number is. I feel like choking him.
Yeah, if you guys want to call in again, or maybe they might just be listening too. That could be it too. 323-870-3857. That is the call-in number if you guys want to call in and ask some questions or talk about the fight last night. So yeah, man. But I was pretty excited last night, man. I was liking it, man. That's for sure. I really wanted Fury to win. I really did. I like them both, but I just like Fury. I like his story. I think that he's got I think he's good for the sport. I think he's really good for the sport, you know. As much as I hate to do this, let's talk about the undercard real quick, and we're gonna breeze through this. The rest of the undercard was the drizzling, you know what, man. I tell you what, it was. It's great that the main event was so good because the rest of the card was just awful. Charles Martin versus Gerald Washington. Martin wins by 6-round knockout over Gerald Washington. Washington looked terrible in this fight. He needs to stop fighting. I don't ever want to see Washington again. Charles Martin didn't look much better either. Emmanuel Navarrete versus Joe Santisma. Navarrete wins the 11th round TKO, and that's about all I have on that one. Again, there was only one fight really this weekend that mattered, and that's the only, but this undercard was horrible. I mean, I can't even tell you how horrible it was. Sebastian Fundora versus Daniel Lewis. Fundora wins by unanimous decision over Lewis. Fundora is the guy. He's 154 pounds. He's 8'11". What is he like? 6'6", I think he is, Beeb. He's that real tall guy.
Yeah.
He's 6'6", 154 pounds.
Yeah.
Fundora is an up-and-comer, and it's only a matter of time before he goes to journeyman status because he fights. He just completely negates his height and fights on the inside and gets caught constantly. He gets caught constantly, and it's only a matter. I thought Jamonte Clark beat him, quite honestly, but I don't know. So that's the deal, man. That was the undercard.
Very uneventful.
Very uneventful. Like I said, I mean, Beeb fell asleep through it. I actually fell asleep during the undercard too. So, what are you going to do? Let's talk about the upcoming fights this week, and then we'll go to the phones. I got let's see here. Let's talk about the upcoming fights this week. We have on, I think this is Friday, February 28th on Showtime from Las Vegas, Malik Hawkins versus Keith Hunter, 10 rounds junior welterweight. This has got to be a showbox card. Jesus.
Crazy, huh?
You know what's funny is Steven Espinoza, friend of the show, by the way. He said last night on Twitter, he says, yeah, and they said pay-per-view is dead. And he just got roasted, man. Everybody came in, hey, on Showtime it is dead. I'm like, why are you talking? This isn't your network. You have nothing to do with this, And they just skewered him online, man. It was horrible. February 28th on DAZN from Milan, Italy. Danielle Scardina versus Andrew Faciliate, 10 rounds, super middleweights. What is this, Beeb? What is this nonsense that they're putting on DAZN trying to pass off as a card? What is this?
Know. The card they have next week is pretty good, but I don't know what that
I don't know what
card
they're doing here.
Yeah,
what are they doing? What is this?
They have a decent card next week, I think.
Yeah, I think they do too. So I believe this is all on Friday, February 28th on UFC Fight Pass from Massachusetts, Worcester, Mass. Irvin Gonzalez versus the dreaded TBA, 8 rounds featherweights. And Jermaine Ortiz versus Louis Ronald Castillo, 8 rounds lightweights. That's on UFC Fight Pass. On Fight Hub TV from Tijuana, Mexico on February 28th, Salvador Cervantes versus Rigo Cruz, 4 rounds flyweights. How about that's the main attraction there? Let's see here. All right, February 29th, Saturday. Now, this is a DAZN card. On Frisco Tech from Frisco, Texas on DAZN, Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas, 12 rounds welterweights. Cal Yafai versus Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez for Yafai's WBA junior bantamweight title. Julio Cesar Martinez versus Jay Harris for Martinez's WBC flyweight title. Joseph Parker on the undercard versus Shondell Winters. So not bad there. And let's see here. I think that should round it off here. Yes, that's going to round it off. I like the Mikey Garcia card. I think Mikey Garcia beats Jesse Vargas. I think he beats him pretty handily. The one I'm interested in is the Cal Yafai Chocolatito Gonzalez. A lot of people rolling with Chocolatito here. I think Cal Yafai.
I think Cal Yafai beats him.
Handily, right?
Well, I'm not going to say handily, but I think it could be handily. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Could beat him. Could beat him handily.
I mean, but last time I've seen Chocolatito, he's last couple he hasn't looked great.
No,
he hasn't looked great at all, man.
He should retire.
Well, we're gonna find out after this fight, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of miles on him.
Yeah, we're gonna find out after this fight. I think that he gets trashed in this fight. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Been wrong before.
You're not wrong on this one.
Yeah.
At least I don't think so.
Doesn't look good, man. Doesn't look good. So you're taking Mikey Garcia, of course, over Jesse Vargas.
I am.
Yeah, I am too. I like Jesse Vargas, but he's not going to be able to stand in there with Garcia. No way. Garcia's too good. Too good.
Yeah. Big skill gap.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he looks like after the Spence fight. You know what I mean? Against a good fighter.
His first fight
you
back.
Know?
It's ironic that both guys have Spence fought Reporter. That's right. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia. He takes long layoffs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And this is a one and done for him. One and done on the zone for him.
Yeah.
That's it. He's got a 1-fight deal, and that's it.
Yeah.
So my guess is that he'll probably stick around, depending on what they can offer him. You know, maybe Kell Brook. What about Kell Brook at 147?
It makes no sense for him to leave PBC though, with all the talent over there.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. But what are you going to do? All right, 845, you're live.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Who are we speaking with?
Can you hear? Okay. You speaking with Cozy Rita on the chat. What's up, guys?
Cozy, what's
Love
up?
the show. I just got to call in the clear. What's up, man? I just got to call in the clear my name real quick. I'm not emotionally invested in Wilder. Let's be very clear about that. I'm not emotionally invested. It's just my opinion. That's all. All I'm saying is I thought the shot that really hurt him was that equilibrium. The first shot definitely caught him. He was stumbling, boom. Second shot hit him with, seems like maybe the ear, back of the head tight, boom.
It wasn't on the back of the head. It was on the ear. There's blood.
Oh,
There's blood on the guy's ear. If he hit him,
Yeah.
how could there be blood on the guy's ear? That's proof enough that he hit him in the ear, guys. Like, I don't understand why this is even a discussion. The punch that hurt him was the shot that hit him in the ear. That's the equilibrium shot.
Because if you go back in
Watch when he gets hit on the ear, he turns his head around. He turns his head around, and that's why he got hit on the back of the head. That's his fault, not Fury's. It's incidental
I
contact.
agree with you. I agree. I wasn't even mad at the shot. I think he ducked into the shot. So I wasn't mad at it. I'm just saying that's what I thought knocked off his equilibrium. That's
No, the ear shot knocked off his equilibrium because it's closer to the temple. That's where the coordination part of your brain is, on the side of your head, near your temple area.
Well, when I boxed for a long time, I grew up boxing, and those shots to the back of the ear, like back of the head, were always the shots that hurt me and knocked off my equilibrium.
They may have hurt you. They may have hurt you, but they're not gonna make your legs go wobbly as much as a temple shot will. I'll guarantee you that, because I got hit in both areas. I'd rather get hit in the back of the head than the temple. I'll be honest.
We can agree to disagree. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really. But I thought Fury was great last night. You know, it was an incredible performance. I think going forward, do you think AJ and Fury will really fight in the summer, or do you think Eddie Hearn is just choking?
No,
They're not fighting in the summer.
He's gonna fight Pulev in June, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna fight. Yeah, that fight's in June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not fighting in the summer.
Oh,
son.
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I you kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that fight happens or not. Then I read somewhere Anthony Joshua said he's open to fighting Fury in 2021. So what do you I mean, like, again, man, I don't wish
honestly
that
don't
fight.
I honestly don't think Fury needs Joshua.
No.
I don't think Joshua beats him. I don't
Joshua,
think
I don't think there's any way Joshua beats him, man.
I don't think the fight's competitive. I really don't. I don't see what the intrigue is. I thought Wilder had a better chance to beat Fury than Joshua did.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I just don't think the fight is competitive.
That's all I wanted to say. That's it.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for calling in, man, and we enjoy you in the chat, man, and definitely call in again, man, for sure.
For sure.
Cozy Rideau, the chat. He's always got good stuff in the chat, man. He does. All right, I think this is from Dallas, Texas. 469. You're live.
What's going on? ¿Qué pasó, mi raza?
What's going on? Who are we speaking with?
How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Jose Dallas.
Jose, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, man. First of all, y'all doing an excellent job. Great job, like always. Congrats on your show.
Thank
I
you.
think y'all probably one of the top 3 podcasts out there.
Thank you very much.
But first of all, wow, what a fight! I mean, that was. Boxing is not dead. Boxing has never been dead. Boxing is there and alive. And wow, I mean, what a show the heavyweights put on for us. I mean,
hats off to Wilder, true warrior. I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere. A lot of people are saying that he shouldn't take the rematch. I mean, I pretty much just jumped in here with y'all a couple minutes ago. So, have y'all said anything about that? Jumping in already, or?
We got different opinions on this. We got different opinions on this. I if I'm managing Wilder, there's no way I go back for a rematch. There's no reason to. He's lost both fights. You can argue. Listen, he lost both of them handily. But Beeb, you had a different point of view.
Right.
Yeah, I think that Wilder should take the rematch because he's at a state now where I think his body's kind of wearing down. I think there's a lot of wear and tear on him. I think these training camps have taken their toll on him, and I think his body's breaking down. So he could be in danger of losing regardless of who he fights. And what's the sense of putting him in there with a soft touch? For what? After he's been on the top of the mountain, you might as well let him fight Fury again, make a boatload of money, and ride off into the sunset. That's my opinion.
Okay, so pretty much as far as his injury, as far as the ear, how long is that recovery going to be? You think? Have they said anything about that, or?
Well, from what I understood, JD's and Shelley Finkel have both said it was just a cut in the ear. They said it was a cut in the ear, and that required stitches, and that they said he didn't go to the hospital. This is coming from Shelley Finkel, and they're also saying that it wasn't like a busted eardrum or anything like that. Listen, man, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but it looked like a busted eardrum. What do I know?
Right. Because even at the I guess the ESPN at the post whatever show that was showing him at the locker.
Yeah.
He just had his head, down, and I mean he didn't look good at all. I mean he could have just been heartbroken or whatever, but anybody would, But I was like, man, that's a true warrior, and of course Fury. I mean, top three. I mean, top probably number one heavyweight right now, and then Wilder, and then probably AJ. I mean, I think Wilder's still up there, 1, 2, 3. You can put him in whatever order you want him in. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
But guys, that's my call. Yep. And then shout out to I forgot his name. Yeah, Color of the Year last year. What was it?
Nacho.
He hasn't called lately no more. What's going on, Nacho?
Hey, he took the money and ran, man. He got the Color of the Year, and he's been out, man.
I know that he did.
He did.
Yeah, he took the belt away from my boy, and he just hasn't shown up anymore. What's going on?
That's it. He's not a fighting champion.
He's like
put
Canelo.
it that way.
He took easy touches. No. I guess he's getting rid of his what do you call him? His mandatories. He's getting his mandatories out of the way.
That's right. All right, Jose, man. We appreciate the call, man.
Every now and then I don't. Yeah, and shout out to the other guy that I gave him a hard time. Yeah, what's his name? Jason.
Jason, for sure.
Shout out to Jay. Hey, man, that guy knows a lot about boxing. I know.
Who, Jason?
No. Just playing around, but that.
Come on.
Jason, yes.
Terrible.
That guy's very, and I don't like his whole PVC, but I mean that guy brings a lot of facts to the table too. Though I gotta get in that. Shout out to Jason, man.
Oh God.
Over here from Dallas, you got a number one fan over here, Jason.
There
Dallas,
you go.
Man.
Oh,
there
God.
you go.
Jason's got fans now. Oh,
he's got
all
fans
right, guys,
now. All right, Jose. We'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you so much.
Jason has fans all over the place.
Jason's got fans.
That's a good one.
Well, it was a good call.
You see what Tone said? Cut him off. Oh shit, that's hilarious.
Georgie said he's going to call in here in a little bit, so we'll be waiting for that one.
That's crazy.
All right, so I tell you what. Let's go to the news and rumors. This is an interesting one, Beeb. So the rumor is the Top Rank is actually for sale. Bob Arum told the Business Insider this week that, hey, anything is for sale, including Top Rank. It seems they're shopping around different offers. The three companies that seem to be interested in DAZN are DAZN, Liberty Global, and Endeavor. And in case you're wondering, who Endeavor is the same company that bought the UFC. They were formerly WEI or whatever. There was it was WEI and it was like a bunch of syllables or a bunch of letters or whatever. But they bought the UFC. Dana White, as you know, was pursuing a thing in boxing, and he did say just recently that they're not going to pursue it, anymore. But this may say different here. The fact that they're trying to buy Top. I mean, anybody buying Top Rank that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And they estimate that it could be worth more, just as much or more than the UFC deal, which was $4 billion.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, and Beeb had said earlier on, well, why would he be selling it? Well, I mean, she's 88 years old, and you're talking about $1 billion. What could equate to quite a bit of money here, maybe $1 billion, maybe a couple. Who knows? Beeb, give me your thoughts on this whole thing. I mean, does it happen?
I don't know what to say. I just don't understand how that.
This is wild. Yeah,
I don't understand how that would work.
My guess is that Bob Arum would probably retire. My guess is that they would keep all the top people in the position. Whoever buys it, they just keep the top. They just keep the machine moving. They keep Todd DeBuff or whatever, and they keep, if Bob Arum wants to stay on as a consultant or whatever, because my guess is if he's selling it, he wants to get out. He's cash out. It's a cash out, But that's my guess. That's my guess is that they would keep everybody in the wheel. Everybody who's in that front office machine over there, they'll keep them there. And from even what Bob Arum said, Todd DeBuff is really the guy over there who's making these deals with ESPN, who's making these deals with the other, you know what I mean? And, kind of running the promotion as it were, Obviously Bob has a say in it. I mean, obviously Bob's got a big part in it, but based on everything I've read and everything like that's the guy running the day-to-day operations over there.
Yeah, Carl Moretti's over there too. He used to work with DeBella, but now he's over there. The guy with the bald guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a big position over there too.
Yeah, that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. And if Endeavor gets this, that's a huge deal. If the Zone gets this, it's a huge deal. Liberty Global, I don't know too much about, but those other two, if they get it, that's a huge deal, man.
But here's the thing. Did you see how happy Bob was in the ring last night? He was actually singing and stuff.
Yeah.
My whole question is this: Can Bob ever, let go of this?
What do you love to do?
Go to the gym.
You like going to the gym?
Yeah.
If I gave you $1 billion, caveat is you could never go to the gym again. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
And listen, man, $1 billion can fix a lot of problems. Put it that way. You can do a lot of things with $1 billion. So, I mean, that is what it is, man. That's life-changing, crazy jack, man. That's what that is. A lot of money. The big surprise here, to me anyway, maybe they're overextended, maybe, I don't know. But why wouldn't PBC make a play for this?
I don't know.
Maybe they will. But, I mean, that would be putting the eggs in one basket, no? If PBC picks them up, what else is there? I mean, who else is out there?
Yeah.
That's game over right there. I mean, seriously, that really is game over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you bought out your biggest competitor. What else? What else is there? And then PBC goes live on ESPN and every other platform in the universe, I mean, boxing goes right through them.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. From Rikers, we got Georgie. 508, you're live.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people?
Georgie.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
It is.
All this time, yes,
the
it
UK.
is. Like the flowers smell better. It's like the sun's brighter, the air is pure. Such a beautiful day.
They let you out in the yard for an extra 5 minutes today?
Man, just to see the lion the fight. That's all I needed. Listen, bro, this man got exposed. That's what happened when you fight 40 tomato cans. You can't be fighting that bullshit competition and then step up. Then you get beat twice back to back. That's what happened. We've been saying it for a long ass time. The man record ain't shit. The man record ain't shit. We be called all type of names, from haters to racist to this and that. Doggy, come on, man. You guys gonna tell me, if you never seen Deontay Wilder fight before, and you saw him yesterday for the first time, you would say that you only got like 6-7 fights. It's not that really like, yeah. I mean, Fury's good, but man, Deontay got too many flaws, too many. And he showed. And they say, oh, he got to go back to the basics. What fucking basics? What basics? What the fuck we talking about? He was never there.
Doesn't have any basic skill, too.
Man, they call the opposition a hater because we be seeing what this fucking mafia be pushing. Man, listen, this is a country of 360 million. That's mad people. And you're going to tell me that 10,000 Brits going to come and fucking bullshit on there? On your fucking country, bro? We be telling this mafia that we see through all these fucking 40 bullshit fight so-called competition, man. Go see the Malik Scott and tell me he didn't took a dive. Bunch of cruiserweights. Man, we be saying it for a long time, man. And he shows up. And then you are hated. Come on, bro. It is over. But like I say, it's a beautiful day. They selling Top Rank. PBC ain't got no money to buy that shit. So they're going broke too.
Who? The UFC?
What's the finances, Beeb? What the finances? Nah.
Endeavor.
PBC.
PBC, yeah. That's what I'm wondering too. That's what I'm wondering too, because if they're just overextended and they can't make an offer on it, you know. It's a huge play.
I mean,
though.
the $100 million he's rolling out soon. That shit not gonna last forever. Who the fuck is generating now? They lost like 3 bells in 3 months. Or 4 bells. I don't know. Somewhere on that count. That shit, that's Exposed City. That's the only network. You always hear about how they sending offer. They're sending offer. You never heard a counter offer. How many counter offer these people send? And I'm missing something, talk to me. School me, people. School me. Yo. Hello. Cricket.
You call in. You want to burn all the time. You want to talk for 10 hours, and we can't get a word in edgewise. Now you're asking us questions all of a sudden.
I was just thinking that same thing. I'm like,
every time we talk, you complain that we're cutting you off.
I'm trying to reach, baby. I'm just trying to reach. That's all. I'm trying to reach.
Listen, we're not gonna subscribe to you. We're not gonna subscribe to your madness.
Hey, there is a method to the madness. Listen. So who's gonna buy Top Rank? Probably the Zone. Ain't the one who got all this fucking Arabian money, all this Saudi money.
I gotta think that
the money that never runs out.
I gotta think that the ones that are gonna buy is DAZN and Endeavor probably are the top 2 odds on.
Don't buy them, they take over them. It's not competing. And now that they got Fury now, man. That's a big bishop in the chessboard. That's big. And why they gonna take a rematch like Beeb said, just to catch out? There is nowhere else to go. Where else are you gonna go? Fight who for what? $1 million?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Wilder goes.
He was never a pay-per-view star. Listen, he was never a pay-per-view star. We all know this. He was never a pay-per-view star, bro. All these numbers always were inflated. They always lied. Oh, he did 1 million views on Showtime. And what they do, they forgot to tell you that was on free fucking preview weekend that anybody could watch them. Because they want to inflate the man and put the fraud up there. That's what they do, bro. Anyway, the fucking lie is over. The fraud being exposed. UK Pride. We here, reigning and defending, and the new. And I'm out.
All right, Georgie. Got about 20 minutes till Rikers gets lights out. He has to go to bed. There you go. Fight Doctor's in the house. I'd be real interested to see what he thought of the fight last night. I see him in the chat. Just be real interested to see how he had that fight. I mean, obviously he had him. Just his thoughts on the fight, I guess. So there you go. Beeb, you're saying I see you in there typing the chat. You and Rafael Dawkins are going back and forth. So you don't think that? I guess. What are your thoughts on the Wilder thing? Then I mean, I saw you going back and forth. You think Wilder beats AJ or what?
No, I don't think AJ beats Fury.
AJ doesn't beat Fury. No, I don't think so either.
Someone else is talking about Wilder and AJ.
Gotcha.
I think both Wilder and I think AJ and Wilder are both damaged goods. To be honest with you, I mean, they both are very vulnerable.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're damaged goods though.
I still don't think AJ's ever going to be the same. You think he's going to be that monster he once was?
No, but look at Lennox Lewis. Let's take Lennox Lewis for example.
Yeah.
When he was knocked out by Oliver McCall, I mean, he was not a monster. I mean, by any stretch. And then he came back and got with Stewart and everybody like that, and completely changed up. And I think that's maybe what AJ has done. He fought a completely different fight. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know until we see him again. You were saying about Pulev. That's what got my attention. Is that you talked about Pulev. You think that Pulev is going to beat AJ?
Yeah, I think he has a shot too. I don't. Anyone that AJ.
Sure.
I don't think AJ is this dominant force like he once was. I just don't. That's just my opinion. Like AJ. I had AJ losing to Povetkin up until the point before he got stopped. Like AJ gets caught a lot.
But it was like the 6th round though, wasn't it? It was like a 6th round stoppage, yeah. And it was a closer fight. I mean, it was a close fight. It wasn't like it was a runaway.
I had Povetkin up.
And even the judges. I mean, I think the judges all had him ahead.
They had Joshua ahead. I don't agree with the scorecards. I mean, just like the judges.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
just like the judges had Wilder ahead in the first Ortiz fight.
Right.
I didn't agree with that. I don't like how Joshua's been looking. I think like I told you before, I think he gets hit with a lot. I think he gets hit.
You didn't think he looked good in the Ruiz fight? And I know you have to take into consideration.
I don't think he looked bad in the Ruiz fight, but I saw some things in the Ruiz fight that disturbed me, like how every time Ruiz touched him, like he reminded me of Amir Khan. Like he was holding on for dear life. Like it was just. I don't think he's the same guy anymore. I don't think he's this monster. I think that I'm seeing slippage.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I have been seeing slippage ever since the Klitschko fight.
Well, we've talked about that, and we've talked about that and his vulnerability to right hands and everything like that. And we saw a lot of things in the Klitschko fight that you look at it and say, wow, that could be a problem for him going down the road.
Well, does that version of AJ beat the version of Ruiz that showed up in June?
Yeah, I think it does. The second version of AJ that showed up in that second fight, yeah, I think he beats Ruiz.
The version that knocked him out in the first fight?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
But I don't know. We don't know. That's the one thing. Is like you really don't know until you put him in there. But you
don't give Pulev any shot against Ruiz? I mean, against Joshua, you don't think that an upset is possible?
No, I don't. I would be. I mean, I would be shocked. Put it that way. I mean, that would be a.
I mean, the guy lost to Ruiz. You don't think he could be upset again?
not. I mean, listen, it's heavyweights and anything can happen, and we both know that. But he's fighting where? Where's he fighting? England?
Yeah, I think so. They're fighting in London. Yeah.
That fight, son.
You don't think he can get knocked out again?
Not by Pulev.
He was
not
hurt,
by Pulev.
He was hurt badly in the Povetkin fight, and then after that, he was knocked out by Ruiz.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
know.
I don't think Pulev is the guy to do it. Put it that way.
I mean, I wouldn't bet on. I wouldn't like pick Pulev to win, but I wouldn't be shocked if I wouldn't be shocked if Pulev beat him.
You wouldn't be shocked?
No.
Wow.
I think he could be knocked out again. I really do.
Well, I agree. I think anybody in the heavyweight division can get knocked out, but
you don't think that he's damaged at all?
No. I mean, to call him damaged goods. When I hear damaged goods, I think of like Meldrick Taylor when he fought Crisanto Espana. You know, after that fight. You know,
I'm not saying he's shot. I'm saying he's damaged.
He's damaged.
I'm not saying he's shot.
I think that's strong. Especially, I mean. But what did you think about when he got knocked out? When Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall, what did you think then? You thought he was damaged?
No, one punch. It was one punch after like McCall was getting beat easily the whole fight. He landed one punch.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you now.
It's not the same thing, bro.
I see what you're saying.
I've seen Joshua since the Klitschko fight.
Yeah.
Get worse and worse in terms of continuously getting hit with right hands. I don't think Joshua is as good as a fighter as Lewis. I don't think he's as skilled. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
I can't compare. I can't really compare Joshua to Lewis because I just don't think they're the same type. I don't think Joshua has the heart and just the intestinal fortitude that these other fighters have.
That's an interesting point.
I just don't think so. I don't think that he just has that mental toughness that Lewis had. I don't think he has that mental toughness that Holyfield had. I don't think he has that mental toughness that Tyson Fury has. That's a big difference. And that's not to say that he's a bad fighter. That's not to say that it's a knock on him as a human being. It just some people are just built differently than others. That's just my opinion. I liked the Ruiz performance. I'm not saying it was a bad performance, but I did see instances in that fight where Ruiz touched him and he reacted very, very differently than he normally would. He's not. I don't like the way he reacts to punches now. Like when he's getting hit with punches now, he's getting hurt every time. I think his punch resistance has gone down immensely.
You think so?
Yes. I'm being honest.
Yeah. No.
I think Povetkin really rocked him in that fight. I was shocked seeing Povetkin do that to him. He hurt him, busted up his nose and everything.
Yeah, I just don't see Pulev doing that though.
Pulev's a big dude.
Yeah, he's been around the block. I mean,
he's a big dude. He only lost one time too, bro. So,
area code 312, you're live.
Fight Doctor is in the house on Rick James status as always.
Fight Doctor.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's happening?
I was shocked.
I was
shocked. Not that Fury won. Not that Fury won. I was shocked in the manner in which he went about doing it.
I wasn't.
Now, had you told me that Fury would win a decision, I would have said sure thing. That's definitely in the realm of possibility. Me personally, I thought, given the circumstances, given that Fury had come in 16 pounds, was it? Heavier than the first fight. And there was some rumors about the ankle injury or whatever it might have been. You know, some talk about him being mentally unstable, which we know he is. I felt that Wilder's team would make the necessary adjustments and that the knockout was pretty much a lock for Wilder. But had you told me that Fury would do what he said he was going to do and stand right in front of Deontay Wilder and then knock him out, had that been a bet, I would have taken that bet. Easily. I did not see this coming at all. You couldn't have. I'm shocked. Listen, congratulations to Tyson Fury. You know, the man is crazy, just like the song said, but it worked. You know, yeah. Wow, it was a hell of a fight, hell of a performance from his. Listen, I think at this point, Wilder needs to ask himself a question. Like, do you want to pursue your career any further? And if so, then I think it's time to make some changes. He should sit down and do some serious soul searching and ask himself, like, do you want, look, if you're going to fight this guy, do you want to actually give yourself a chance to win? Because where was the plan B? Okay? Like, the first fight, I thought that Wilder fought the dumbest fight ever. And it seems like in the rematch, it was more of the same. Fighting the dumbest fight ever. And his brain trust is doing him a disservice by not correcting his technical flaws. Okay? Like, listen, all of the B-level guys and the heavyweight is full of B-level, B and C-level guys. Those guys he's going to knock out. But for the A-class, for the top-level guys at heavyweight, of which Fury is the best of the lot, and he's definitely an A-class fighter, doing what you have been doing up to this point is not going to work. You're going to have some different tricks. You're going to have a plan B. You're going to have something other than just a right hand, because a right hand against A-level guys, that's not going to cut it. It's just not. Okay? It's just not. I mean, listen, the fight was competitive for like 1.5 rounds, and then after that, it was all Tyson Fury. And listen, I think personally, you can make an argument for the fight being a shutout up until the knockout. And I think the fight should have been stopped around earlier, to be completely honest. I mean, that was a beat down, beat up and beat down. That was a complete dismantling, if ever I saw one. That was having your soul snatched. That's insult to injury, okay? A good old-fashioned ass whipping on top of a boxing lesson in front of the world, okay? Unfucking believable. And I Deontay Wilder, it might be time to like switch management, switch trainers, something, okay? But learn some fucking defense.
It's too late. Right? It's too late for him. It's too late.
Yeah, it very well could be. Very well could be.
He's fought this way for 40 some odd fights. He's 34 years old. Listen, man, and how long is it going to take him? Let's even give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's get a new trainer in there. How long does it typically take after you work with a new trainer to get adjusted to that trainer? At least a few fights. He doesn't. There's no way he can change who he is now.
Well, to correct everything, yeah, I think to correct everything he's going to need to fix in order to give himself a chance to actually beat Tyson Fury in a rubber match, it's going to take a couple of fights to work it all out, which, you know, at 34, who's to say he even gets another Tyson Fury fight? You know, if he doesn't exercise his rematch clause.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I mean,
you know,
does the public want to see it? You know what I mean? I think because that's a driving force, whether he's got a rematch clause or not. And he does, obviously. But I mean, do you want to see the third fight? I don't want to see it. I have no desire to see it. For what? No. We already saw the first two. They were one-sided. What do we need to see it for?
Right. I'm not a glutton for punishment like that. So, honestly, I don't want to see Wilder get his ass kicked again, okay? Yeah. Not like that. You know, if I thought the fight was going to be competitive, then yes. But, you know, after what I saw last night, Fury whoops his ass, and next time it won't go 7. I don't think.
Yeah.
You know. So, I think perhaps the smart thing for Wilder to do. I was listening to someone else's telecast earlier. They were voicing their opinion that, you know, if you are Wilder's brain trust, and I actually agree with this opinion, that you should elect to take your immediate rematch, you know, because that's going to be your biggest money fight that you can make at this point, and cash out. Take the ass whooping and ride off to the sunset. I think that would be the smart thing for Wilder to do.
Well, again, man, and that's what Beeb said, and I do agree with it. I do agree with in the sense that, yeah, that's his biggest money fight. But if you, depending on what you think you have left, do you think you have, enough left? I don't take if he wants to fight a few more times, I don't take this fight next. If you want to cash out, you take this fight next. If you want to fight a few more times, I don't take that fight next. If you want to try to rebuild yourself and everything, I don't take that fight next. No way.
Well, the question is, see. If he doesn't, well, of course, if you want to rebuild yourself, then you don't take the immediate rematch. But the question is, if you don't take the immediate rematch, then are you going to have another chance to get at Tyson Fury?
Another chance to get a Tyson Fury? Maybe, maybe not. But will you have another chance to get a belt? Yeah, I believe he will. Because those, I give it, those belts are going to be fractured very, very soon, I believe. Nobody holds on to them forever in the sense that they're going to get fractured.
But if you're fighting what's his name? The guy who beat Joe Watson last night. What's his name?
Charles Martin. Yeah.
If you're fighting the Charles Martins of the world for a vacant trinket, how much money are we talking? Nobody cares.
Yeah, you're right about that. 100%.
So, at this point, right? So at this point, if you choose not to take your immediate rematch, and let's say Fury goes on and knocks out Tyson, Anthony Joshua, then at this point, Fury is holding all the cards, and you were just the guy he knocked out. So, what type of, and let's say you have the idea of trinket. Who cares? Who cares? So, I would think that, the smart thing to do for Wilder, because realistically, at 34, I don't think that even given a couple of fights, he has enough time to, learn the skills to give himself a chance to beat Tyson Fury.
No.
I just don't think time is on his side.
No.
So, me personally, I think he should just go ahead and take, take the rematch, take the rubber match, take the ass whooping, take the money and run. And gentlemen, I'll leave you guys with that.
All right. Thank you so much, Fight Doctor. I was real interested to hear what he had to say tonight about the fight. And there you go. Beeb, where do the best callers in the world come from?
Ohio.
There it is. OH, you're live.
Ohio.
There we go. What's happening? Ohio runs boxing. What's up?
Man, you already know. What a night. What a night, man. What a night, man. You know what's so funny? I don't know if you've seen my post where I said I had a dream Tyson Fury was standing over Wilder.
Yeah.
And he was shaking. And I got over 100 comments.
Was it?
I got over 100 comments.
Was it you, the one that posted?
I didn't have a real dream. I was just joking, man.
Was it you that posted the one with the picture? It had like it had Tyson Fury behind Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder had like that. He was screaming or something like that.
90 seconds.
The Pornhub.
Yeah, that was the greatest ever.
I never did the editing for that. I just put the Pornhub logo on it because whoever I thought was going to put that as a poster, but I guess they stopped that one because that one didn't look right. But yeah, man. Getting into the fight, funny. Man. I was going with Wilder. I actually made a prediction before the fight. I actually thought Wilder was going to knock him out 5. But I also told people, why are y'all doubting Tyson Fury?
60 seconds.
Hurt Wilder in the first fight.
Right.
We have to get. Man, how can you be that biased to the point where you just don't think Tyson Fury has a chance? And I just felt like it was a good game plan to move, to walk towards and stay on the inside of Wilder, move him back. I thought it was a brilliant idea. When Tyson started talking about it, it clicked. A light bulb clicked in my head. I'm like, oh man, you know what? That is what you do. How many guys have we seen? And I said it before. How many guys we have seen who wasn't considered power punchers? From Tony Harrison he stepped in the pocket against Charlo and was moving him back. He fought him, and he was, the only thing was with him, he should have mixed it up, and that's what Tyson Fury was doing at times. Tyson Fury would come in
10 seconds.
And bully him. As soon as the bell rung, Tyson Fury was like, "What's up? Hey, I'm here." Hey, he was.
He ran over there. Yeah, he ran across that ring.
He ran, and Wilder's never seen that, and that's what you do to these guys that gets this boogeyman, the most fear. You go to them. I'm here now. I just took your right hand 2 times. I felt Tyson Fury had the mental edge way before the fight even started. So that's why he was so comfortable, so relaxed. He knew what he had to do. He knew I'm going to push the boogeyman, the monster of the division back, and he did that. And like I said, you don't have to be a power puncher to do that, man. And he did that. He actually, like I said, his power carried up with that 273. And he was laying it on him, man. He was laying him on the rope. He was doing little tricky stuff where a lot of people didn't pay attention to, man. It was rough tactics at times, but that's the fight game. And Wilder never seen that. The only thing I have a problem with now is that that's the blueprint. Everybody wants Wilder now. Everybody. Dude, I think I've seen Chavez Jr. calling Wilder out now. So
yeah, it wouldn't shock me.
Right, so I think that's the blueprint, and I think as a fan of Wilder, I'm not a fanboy. Man, I don't know about the rematch. There's no way that I can convince myself that he's going to do something different. You know,
as a fan, let me ask you this, because I know you're a big Wilder fan. Do you want to see a third fight between these two?
Absolutely.
Really?
That's why I was enjoying y'all. Listen, no. That's why I was enjoying y'all conversation while I was on the phone listening to y'all. I would take Charles Martin, build confidence up, lie to your fans at least.
Yeah.
At least lie to your fans. Build the confidence up, try to fight Charles Martin, at least put him on his back, and then get your fans all roaring up. Hey, Tyson, we want you now. You know, like Triple G did, Von Monte Rosen went up the weight, and soon as he got that knockdown, everybody's like, Triple G back. You know, they were like, hello. So,
exactly.
Give him that, but no, man, as a fan, I don't like it going in the rematch. I think, but if he's trying to go for the money, go ahead and get it and get out of here. I just don't see nothing different. I see if he does not know how to fight on the back foot, he looked like he didn't even know what was going on. And trainers didn't know what to tell him. No, the best thing the trainers did was throw the towel in. That was the best thing they did.
And they throw him under the bus for that.
It was hard. Listen, I've seen that too. I think that was good, man. I think it was good just to throw it in there. We didn't see him land on his back. I went to the movie to see the fight, so it was a great experience. It was majority black people there, and there was only like 8 white people, and it was so funny because when Tyson won, the 8 white people stood up and clapped like, and I was like, oh. I was like, you said there for you. They was supporting. They probably was from the UK. Hey, Eric, it was hilarious. It was so many upset people, man. And I was just like, oh, man, I think the whole thing was they was trying to make it. Some people were trying to say it was a race war. No, it wasn't, because I know a lot of white people who were picking Wilder.
Right.
And I know a lot of black people who was picking Tyson Fury. So it was not really a race war. Some people was trying to make it that, but it really wasn't. I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it. And the messed up thing about the whole thing, I think to put the icing on the cake for us as Black Americans, is that he beat him on Black History Month. He beat him with this great entrance to coming in, Black Power, Black Unity, Black, you know, we like, oh, yeah.
He looked like Black Panther coming out, man. I tell you what. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was like, terrible, man.
So crazy. And Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury snatched that from us. And that was just the thing. It was like, oh, Tyson, you could have just lost this fight. You could have won the other fight. You could have won the trilogy, the last fight. Don't do this on Black History Month, man. Not Black History Month. You dropping him. He's falling all over the place. I seen a woman I didn't even know. Her popcorn fell. Her popcorn fell as soon as Wilder fell. It was like at the same time. And it was slow motion, man. It was slow motion, man. It was crazy. It was like, he's destroying our king right now. He is our king, and he's getting destroyed. But one thing about me, man, before I get off, I have a good sense of humor. I can talk boxing. I don't get in my feelings. I can take my L And a lot of these guys have to learn that. I know it's a lot of
Yeah.
guys that's passionate about Wilder. I get it. But you have to be realist and be able to come back and eat your eat your wounds, man. You gotta be able to take your L. And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my L. I'm okay with it. But I'm also a realist. I don't know about this rematch. I hear a lot of guys like, I'm a Wilder fan and we can't wait for the third fight. I can wait.
Yeah.
I can actually take a couple tune-ups if I can.
Yeah, that's
but,
it. Yep.
At the end of the day, it was a great fight. That's it. That's all I can say. So, I enjoy the show, guys. I'm going to be listening, and that's my call, man.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Ohio. Ohio runs boxing. Catch him on Facebook. He's got a great page. He's got a great page in there, man. It's a lot of fun. Corey said he was on hold. He dropped off, and then so I don't know where he is. Corey, I love when Corey calls and he's like, "Well, just put me on hold until I got to go through the drive-through or something like that." And I don't know. He's funny. Let's see here, and we mentioned earlier too what could have been our co-train wreck of the week here. Adrian Broner was arrested at the Fury Wilder weigh-in. He was told back in November by the MGM that he was not allowed to visit the property. I don't know why. Nobody really knows why, but apparently he was banned from the MGM. So
could he even go to the fight and watch it?
I don't believe so. No, they banned him from the property. I mean, he couldn't go to the weigh-in. And apparently they got that facial recognition technology or whatever, so they knew it right away. I guess when he came in that he was banned. So he showed up to the weigh-in. They asked him to leave. He refused, so their security or whatever just detained him until the police got there, and they took him away in cuffs. He received a misdemeanor trespassing citation. So there you go. Adrian Broner. What is wrong with that guy, man? Lots. All right, guys. Well, listen, man, that'll do it. It was a fun week of boxing. Join us next week, man. We're going to talk about Mikey Garcia, that fight on the zone. That should be a really good card. A lot of good fights on that card.
I'm looking forward to that card.
I am too. A lot of good fights on that card. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. You can catch me on Twitter at Ringside73. Go to our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And we're going to see you guys next week.